Where did it begin for us? Where did our journey start?
Studying about Newton and playing with the prisms.
Why is Newton so important to this study? What did he do?
Because he discovered that light's made up of a lot of different particles and colors rather than it's not just one thing.
And we're looking at this idea of the rise of the individual. And Newton is a very powerful force because he's involved in so many different philosophies at this particular time. He is not only a scientist, but he's also shaping society in terms of the ideas that he's putting out. In here, you can grab for yourself the following materials. All of this is fatty tissue and muscle. And then this hole that I'm literally sticking my probe into, that's your pupil.
Could we take out the lens and like see if it works?
Sure.
That's the retina right there, right?
Right.
Where do you develop film?
In a dark room.
So why is the inside of the eye black? Think about it from that standpoint.
So you don't mess up the film?
That's right.
So it's like that normally and then it retracts.
Think about my window for a second, right? There's my window. My window's not going to change size, but what I can change is how the curtains flood in and around behind it to allow light in.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. That's exactly how the iris works.
And same thing with like a camera and shutter.
Yeah, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, you made it. That's the connection.
It's the tapetum and it's at night what like reflects. When the light comes in it can reflect it back out so they can see at night and it's really pretty.
And then the part where the retina is connected is right here, and that's the blind spot because there's no light recepting cells there, so you can't see that. And then that is connected to here. This is the optic nerve.
And it takes
And
it
then
back
that,
to the brain.
yes, connected to the brain where it takes it back.
And then you can see.
It was a wonderful experience looking at the mind from such a different perspective. That is beautiful. Get a shot of that on your camera. That is nice cross-section. Good work. It also relates to Voltaire, because Voltaire, who they're reading in English at the time, he actually spends a lot of time writing satirical letters about optics. And so you see that what's happening in these other fields is running across all sorts of fields at this time period, which becomes really exciting because students start to see the breakdown of traditions to the sharing of information. And in many ways, it's somewhat reminiscent to where we are today. What I would like you to do between now and next Tuesday is start talking to the people that you want to build the eye with about your plans. How are you going to make this 3D structure for other people to learn about the eye?
When you look at it from under, it actually looks like the whole eye comes together. So you get multiple perspectives of it.
During this time period, they started thinking empirically, doing research, like hands-on research, experimenting with different things themselves.
I was personally very affected by optics in general, and I started getting interested in math suddenly, and I started getting interested in science, and I started getting interested in all of my classes. And this kind of confirmed that you could be interested in many things and still succeed and still do well. And I don't know, I just felt a connection with all the philosophers and philosophers and all the enlightened people that we were talking about just because they were so interested in so many different themes.
I kind of feel like we're philosophers ourselves because we, even if we don't want to at first, we're kind of forced into exploring different areas that we wouldn't necessarily.
And I think that's what really made this enlightened period that we're learning about thrive, because people were just exploring and exploring, and I feel like as a person I'm thriving because I'm just exploring and exploring.
What really impressed me was the fascination that she had with looking at the mind from such a different perspective. And when we worked with visual perceptions downstairs and started talking about the connections between mind, brain, and also education in terms of how we perceive the world,